Hello and welcome back to Stop Hannah Time. What a lovely week it's been, especially in the UK. We are currently in the grips of Storm Henry, I think it is, and Imogen is coming. I don't really know anymore. This is why you don't name storms, because they happen so frequently in January and February, especially when the US has had them a few months earlier, that we lose any track. Since the naming convention started on apparently the 12th of November last year, we have had a grand total of about 8 or 9 storms. And apart from Desmond and maybe Gertrude, I've not particularly been able to isolate those specific storms as causing problems. I'm sure people in those areas have. And if you are in those areas, my thoughts go out to you, and I hope you're doing all right. Hope you're not doing silly shit, because I did notice the Met Office tweeting out going, don't put yourself at risk to get photos, don't go in the sea, don't do any of that stuff. I personally wouldn't be as concerned about a storm called Gertrude as I would be about, I don't know what I'd call it. This is the thing, what do you call a storm or a hurricane? It feels like we're sort of copying the US as well, which I'm always a bit iffy about, because that sort of shows that politicians are unable to think for themselves sometimes, maybe a little bit, tiny bit, or whoever the hell it is that's copying. But yeah, I hope you're doing okay if you're carrying on with that. I know I said last week don't cycle, and a load of you, especially the Dutch, went, fuck you. I'll cycle where I want. I think you underestimate the power of the Dutch. And yeah, fair enough. If you want to cycle and put yourself at risk and potentially get hit by a car, put the driver of the car also in danger, waste the time of the ambulances and so forth, then good for you. Last Monday, it was so windy that I woke up at 3 a.m. to the sound of church bells, which was particularly disconcerting because it's almost like the apocalypse is coming. If you wake up at 3 a.m, it's dark and all you can hear is the bells chiming in a church that actually is quite a distance away. So just be a bit sensible. And that's the mum bit aside. I can't help myself. I don't know why, but yes, I very much despise doing it unless it's for Clem, but apparently it's something that isn't naturally ingrained into my blood. So happy flipping days. Thanks, genetics. The next thing is very, very excited to tell you about my poster, which I did tell you about last week, but I can finally reveal it in full, and here it is on the screen right now. You can buy it at the link in the description. There's also wristbands on there. There's a Fright Night t-shirt, a Fright Night poster. There's loads of Hannah swag. And Kim. Yes, just and Kim. So go and check it out, and please do buy if you want to support, or just if you bloody like it. And also go and tweet Nina and tell her how awesome it is, because it really is. It was perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. I was literally just like, could we get a few more little statues at the top there, maybe some vines there and a tree or two there? Perfect. And then you guys as well tweeted me saying, because I said we'd like to put some secret references in there as well to make it work, and what do you have in mind? You guys were fantastic. There's a death claw in there. There's an eagle for Assassin's Creed, because obviously putting the logo in, bit dodgy, so we've gone for the eagle. If you look very carefully, you can spot a very familiar silhouette of a dwarf, and there is also a man and a slightly shorter person holding hands, which is Lee and Clem, because I had to have those in there. But if you really, really like it, please do go and buy it. You should also be able to pick it up at conventions later in the year, which means you'll be able to get it signed. It should also be going over to the US with the next batch of things that we send out. Apparently there may also be some of the t-shirts, so I know like ladies t-shirts and stuff, there may be some of those. It could be quite limited though, just because of the production runs and the way it works, because obviously the way it works with production is you mass produce and then you sell them, so it will be whatever we can over there. So hopefully if you're waiting on a specific thing to come into stock, that helps out. If not, then apologies, but it's kind of out of my control with what we can do with that. But I hope you guys enjoy the poster. I'm really, really excited to see how well it does. So please do buy it, or other stuff like the wristbands and stuff if you'd like to support. Moving on in a tiny little segue. thank you to everyone who turned up for the stream on Friday. I was absolutely overwhelmed with the sheer amount of people who donated. Thank you ever so much. I haven't even sat and worked out how much it was or anything like that, but I do know that we've probably got about 20 people who are going to be in XCOM as it goes along. Obviously, our crack troop of people didn't quite survive according to plan. Having hunted around, looked around and talked to various other players who've played XCOM at that level, it looks like I just got a really bad randomization on that storyline, because everyone's gone, God, that's... What? Why have you been given that? So potentially that's what it was. I've also had to replay that specific level several times because that bug right at the end of the stream meant it didn't save the save. So yeah, it's all gone a bit wonky. But everyone who has donated, thank you very much. Do not fret, you are going to be in the game. I'm going to make you as character profiles, and so we can import you in. And then we'll continue that along the streams. So thank you very, very much for that. And hopefully I won't kill you quite as fast as the others. I'm really sorry. But yeah, thank you very much to everyone. It was amazing. I loved it. And I hope if you haven't seen it, then the live stream highlights will be out on the channel later this week. I think I'm going to aim for Wednesday, but it may also be up on Yogs Live already in full. So do go and check it out if you'd like to see what happened. What else? What else to talk about? There's Q&A, but there is also the house. Roughly the house. I won't go into the details because it seems to be ever changing on a daily basis. The gist of it that you need to know is there's me. There's 3 houses involved, I want to say. There's a chain of people. The people at the very end of the chain, away from me, that are moving into a new build. The developer of the new build is having a tantrum because it's not moving as quickly as he'd like, despite the fact that completion date was supposed to be April. So for some reason, the top end of the chain are pushing for me to sign the contract for this house. Now I'm getting quotes done because there's various issues with the house. There's asbestos that needs removing. There is a hole in the garage where there's an inspection pit, which is basically a 5-foot drop. It's not very safe. And it's just checking those things, getting some quotes to get the work done, and then negotiating the final price on the house. It's going okay. The main thing at the moment is whether the people at the end in the new build or moving into the new build or the developer there has a proper tantrum and goes, he's threatened to remarket it. But it's one of those things where that actually shouldn't have anything to do with me. That is the solicitors playing hardball to try and get me to move on it. And my solicitor has already earned her wages because, holy shit, she is dealing with them very well. So fingers crossed it's all fine. I've just got to wait for this guy who's doing the quotes to come back. I rang him the other day and so I said, I've got all these things. I've got asbestos water tank, there's asbestos garage roof. I just need quotes to get, them removed, replaced. Could you do me a separate quote for insulation and a ceiling to be put into the garage, just so I know my options, in case I do it, if I get it done. And he goes, it'll be an extra £1,000 to insulate it and put a ceiling on. That £1,000 insulation could very easily refund in terms of saving energy, because it's cold in that garage. I've been in there, it's horrible. So the end idea possibly with that room is to turn it into another room, not a garage, and maybe put a toilet in at the end, like an extra toilet facility. Not on its own in the room though, I know what you're thinking, but put a little extra downstairs toilet in. But that room is big enough to have friends over and do board games in, so it's effectively a second dining room. And that's sort of the master plan, but we've got to make sure that things like the inspection pit are safe first. So I rang the guy and he said, well, you could email me it all, but just quickly run through it with me now so I can say if we can and can't do it. And I went, I've got this inspection pit. And I was thinking about, I said, ideally, I don't want the inspection pit because it's not very safe. So I was wondering if you could give me a quote for filling it. He said, I'll tell you what, I can do you better than that. And I was like, right. He said, put a frame in. So I assume a frame means literally you're framing that pit to stop it moving. He said, put a frame in. We can put a floor safe in there for you if you want. And I was just like, a floor safe? Or some, under storage, and then we'll cover it with steel, put a proper little thing on it so you can get into it and it's secure and all of that. And it's, make it into storage versus what it is now, which is disused and it's probably got horrible things in it. And I was like, dude, that's amazing. So I've accidentally possibly bought myself a floor safe, but it's a really good idea. And I feel like when I first saw it, I was like, can we repurpose this into storage? And the answer is yes. So exciting things maybe. It all depends on if someone has a tantrum somewhere in the chain and the chain falls apart. I do know that Kim was dealing with her house thing for like 6 months. It was absurd. The runaround she had with estate agents, things like that. So I fully was expecting to have, the people playing the game with me. Luckily, I've got a sister who seems very keen on playing the game back, and also I've got my parents, and also I've got loads of people at work who have also moved recently-ish, so they're all being pretty helpful resources. So thank you very much to any of you if you're watching, and here's hoping that we can all have a nice drink in the house if it ever gets bought. Oh, anyway, let's look at the last week's vlog. Now, a load of you tuned into it to go, where's the Fine Bros reference? Like, where are you talking about it? Didn't really need to, did I? Because I didn't need to. I just put the thumbnail on and the description was like, ha 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 ha. Sod you, Fine Bros, and your terrible, terrible business plan, especially in light of the fact that you harassed Ellen and a few other places because you thought they stole your style. Arguably, I've seen your style in a 1970s BBC children's programme, so up yours. Seriously though, terrible plan, terrible PR for it as well. Just no one really thought it through, and I guess they're now at the point where they're kind of fucked. I don't know. It's just silly, but what can you do? What can you do about it? Other than laugh, because otherwise, where are we all going? It's a similar reaction to the Sony Let's Play. What an absurd idea. We all know why. We all know why it was done. To cash in, to protect the brand. I mean, the Let's Play one was a little less vague. That was quite clear what they were doing. But I just think it was silly. The way it was handled was silly. And hopefully we can all move on from that now, because they've said we won't do it anymore. It's a silly idea. We've listened to you all. It's not quite what we meant when we talked about it, but we did it anyway. So it'd be interesting, actually, because I think they've given up the trademark as well. So potentially someone else could try and trademark it. And the fact that they got it approved means that someone else might get it approved. We'll find out. So that is all for now, guys. Don't forget to go and check out that poster if you'd like to pick it up. Do keep an eye on my Twitter in case I do a midweek stream. It's either going to be Tuesday or Wednesday, probably Wednesday, but don't panic too much. Let me know in the comments as well. Are you bothered if I continue XCOM on the Wednesday stream, if there's a Wednesday stream, or do you want it just on the Friday and do you want me to do something else on the Wednesday, because I could totally do that as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Leave your questions in the comment section below, of course, and please do like and favourite if you have enjoyed this, and I will see you on Friday for more XCOM 2, if not before. Thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely week. Goodbye.